Welcome to the Mother-Daughter Empower Show. I'm your host, Tara Filto. And on today's segment, we're talking about how to experience an empowered holiday season. We welcome our guest, Melanie McLaren, who is the Director of Communications and Community Relations with the Simcoe Muskoka Family Connections.
Thank you again for having me today. Really appreciate being on. And Simcoe Muskoka Family Connections, most people know us by our previous name, which is Children's Aid Society. So we are still a Children's Aid Society, and we cover the areas of Simcoe County as well as all of the District of Muskoka. So it's a really big catchment area. It's actually 11,000 square kilometers, if you can imagine how big that is. It's bigger than some countries. Anyways, and the work that we do is working with families, both in child protection and in Muskoka. We also do child and youth mental health services. We're the lead provider for child and youth mental health services in Muskoka. So a lot of people don't know that. So we do both. And we work alongside families, and most of the time we're working with families where the children are still with their families and living with their families in their homes, and they're struggling with some kind of challenge. Could be anything. A lot of us even struggle with some of the same challenges that many of our clients do. Sometimes mental health, sometimes it's an illness, sometimes it's addictions. There's all kinds of different challenges that they face, and we provide them supports. Now, one of the major issues, though, and why the holiday program kind of exists is because over 80% of the families that we work with live in poverty. And so it's a huge chunk. That poverty is definitely a challenge that many of our families face. And one of the reasons why the holiday program is there to help them through kind of a really important time in the year for most of us, and one that they can't always afford to provide for their families.
Right. And can you tell us a little bit more about, I guess, how that specific holiday program works and how one can get involved?
Yeah, so our holiday program has several different facets. So one of them is we partner with local community organizations like CTV for like the Toy Mountain, which you'll see sometimes in the media. The paramedics do toy drives for us. Many other community partners are doing that in the community. So there is where we collect toys and other types of gifts, and those ones we pull together and then we provide those to families. But one of our kind of, I guess, the bigger pieces that we organize is the hamper program. So we have a sponsorship, adoptive family sponsorship program is what we call it, but a lot of people have kind of different ways to refer to it. And that's where we have a family, and this year it's going to be about 300 families that will get some support, as well as independent youth. So children who've been in foster care and they've what we call aged out, so they've gotten too old to be in the foster care system, they typically are living on their own independently, and that's a pretty challenging thing to do when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, and you don't have, because you've been in foster care and you weren't adopted, you don't necessarily have a family to go home to at the holidays. And so a lot of times it's kind of a heart-wrenching story, but I know it happens with a lot of our independent youth. They try to work or do other things on even Christmas Day or Boxing Day because they don't have a family to spend the holidays with. And so we have them, we have over 90 independent youth this year, which is our highest number that since I've been involved in the program for the last few years. It's the highest number of youth that we'll be supporting this year. And that provides them with a whole variety of things. And so that sponsorship program, we provide a list of the family members or the name and the age of the independent youth. And then we provide a sort of a set standard of things that would be included in that hamper. For children, we ask things like 2 good quality toys, either an outfit or a gift certificate to buy clothing, a stocking or some kind of small items like puzzles or coloring or those kinds of things, or maybe some holiday treats. And then We also ask for money towards a grocery gift card. And a lot of times people question that, and it's because we feel instead of giving food, a lot of people have different choices in what they eat, and it provides a little bit more dignity in a family being able to go and purchase the items that they want to buy to eat with their family and create a family meal. And so that's why we ask for the grocery gift card instead of non-perishable foods. And we can't manage, 300 turkeys. And that may not be what their family wants to eat for the holidays. And so we try to that's where we balance that. And then the other piece is to give, if it's a family, to also give some small items for the mom or the dad or the caregiver. We have a lot of kin families where it's a grandparent or an aunt or someone like that who's caring for kids. And so we do ask that becomes a part of it. And then for independent youth, it's similar. It's about same kind of idea, but for an older child. So you would get some gifts. We try really hard to provide as many details as we can of what a gift would be good for that child or youth. And it just depends on what we're provided in order to give to the sponsor to go out and go shopping for that. So that's the sponsorship program and the toy drives. And as part of the toy drives and other ways people can get involved is if they still want to shop, but they don't want to create a hamper. Some people do collections with friends, or maybe they're having a holiday party and they want to give back a little bit. So you can get them to bring pajamas or toiletries or things like that we might not have enough of, like teen items, things like that. So you can do a collection for items, and then we will accept those as sort of what we call like a bulk donation. And then some people just want to give, but they don't either have time or the energy to fight the holiday crowds, or they're just a really busy person and they don't have time to do their shopping, or maybe it's just not part of their personality. We also accept financial donations.
Wonderful.
And then we use that money to support it through purchasing of, usually we buy gift cards, so grocery gift cards, because that's one area where families, we don't always get enough of those. So we'll do that, or just to kind of fill the gaps of where we might not have received support that families need.
Wonderful. And I love how you mentioned the gifts for either the aunts, the grandmother, parents, because so often we think about the children, which there's obviously such a need there, but then the caregiver gets kind of forgotten into the mix so often. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity to really include them into the program as well.
Yeah, and it's lovely because a lot of our sponsors do think that way, but I know sometimes I interact with the families because we need some further details or we need clarification, and I'll connect with the family and they'll say, oh no, please don't get anything for me. This is about the kids. Like, I'm okay, I'll be fine. And I say to them, well, no, like, what would you like if you could have something? And one of the things that I think, again, it kind of really tugs at your heartstrings is things that they ask for are things so like a pair of socks, or, I had another woman say, well, I really, really haven't had my hair colored in a long, long time, and it's embarrassing because I have all these great hairs and I can't, and so she said, if I could get a gift certificate to have my hair colored so that I could feel better about myself, like, that to me is exactly the kind of thing, is that they aren't necessarily spending any money on themselves when they can't even, they're having a really difficult time with their day-to-day basic needs, that their own self-care, suffers for that. So it's sometimes little things like that can make a humongous difference.
So I guess, is there an opportunity for local businesses, if somebody owned a hair salon and wanted to donate like 10 certificates, that you could actually distribute them to families that would really appreciate that, and that it would make a difference for them?
Oh, for sure. I mean, and this is the phenomenal thing about the holiday program, is that we interact with our community and find out, the giving nature of people and the generosity and the desire to help their families in their community is really amazing. And 100% we can always find ways to be creative, especially when families like this. I mean, that's a great example, but yes, we would 100% do that. I think that was on a list of a child's last year. I think she's like a teen, and she hadn't had her hair cut in a while, and it was a local community business that stepped up and said, yeah, I would love to do that for her. So we would love that. Something like that would be wonderful.
Good. So there's so many opportunities out there, whether you're a family or an individual or even a business to give back and help support this program. I love it. I want to talk a little bit about how I personally, this is our second year of donating to the program.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like just as much as it benefits the family that's in need, it really does benefit the person that's giving as well.
Yes.
I know for myself, I left the basket last year and I walked out and I was literally in tears.
Yeah.
The staff there was just so welcoming and being able to go out there and know that you're helping a very specific family, because they do provide you with the details, kind of like the no names, of course, but the ages and what the family's in need. And for us, I am a mom of 3 kids, so being able to take my kids along and talk to them about that family in need and get them to pick out items that they believe that the child would enjoy, it is really teaching them great values of giving back. And it's just so heartwarming for our own family to be able to give back
Yes.
because as we all know, sometimes you get wrapped up in the holiday season and it's all about gifts, and we're also fortunate to have so much, and to be able to give back if you can is really equally a heartwarming feeling and an empowering feeling for those that give as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm a donor as well. So I do kind of oversee the program, but this year, I've done it for 4 years now. My neighborhood and we sponsor a family. So we have a Facebook group and we kind of post the information, and then everyone decides what they're going to donate. And then I've added now a group of my girlfriends. We do another family, and then my family, myself, we do a small family with a baby. And so I think I buy their stuff before I buy my gifts for my family. They are kind of first on my list. And so I do 100% know the feeling personally, and can attest to exactly what you said, is that my kids get right into it and they get excited. Oh, I'm going to shop for the girl and I'm going to shop for the boy, and they really get right into it. So it is a fabulous way, and it's become a new tradition for us as well.
Yeah, what an awesome tradition to have year after year, to be able to do that. I think that's a gift on its own. Yeah. And I love the idea that you brought up about the Facebook group. So if someone's feeling maybe a little bit overwhelmed and saying, I can't take on doing a full family or a full basket, but to maybe reach out to your community and get others involved so that you guys can kind of share that opportunity, and then it doesn't become so overwhelming for those that might not be able to do, to sponsor a full family or a basket. So that's a great idea for.
Yeah, and with my group, it's grown every year, because then members who are part of it, again, it's in my neighborhood, so they invite then their neighbors if they're a little bit farther away. That it's not just people right on either side of me. It's now like, oh, is it okay if I ask so and so to join the group? And I'm like, the more the merrier. And then this year we've done a family of 8, I think. So we have a really big family. Yeah. So we've been able to really come together in a way. And as I said, it's a really great way. And I'm blown away by our sponsors. I mean, I get kind of caught up in it, but I also see the generosity of the people that get involved, like yourself, and really get right into it. And I know how much the families appreciate it. And as much as you might be in tears dropping it off, they're in tears picking it up. And we do get the letters back that say, thank you so much to the sponsors, and they've made such a difference in our lives, and being able to not worry and stress about being able to equalize the playing field in a way, right? So their children have that happiness and experience like some of the others in their class, in their neighborhood, and they can feel like someone remembered them. And that really, at the end of the day, is what we're trying to do, is to give them that experience. I know that I watched it on Oprah like forever ago. Like, okay, I'm aging myself. I say I used to watch Oprah, the Oprah show, right? And she talked about when she was sponsored. when she was a little girl, and about the difference that that made for her, that when people showed up for her, that it just made her feel so special. It meant that somebody cared about her and her family. And she said she never forgot it. And it was basically one of her favorite Christmas memories was her community and people in her community caring about her and her family when they couldn't afford gifts. And that she wasn't going to be different when she went back to school in January, and she could talk about the fun, toy that she got that was similar to what other kids did. So, yeah.
Really is. It really does provide a way to feel, it supports inclusiveness, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So can you tell us when the deadline is for those that are watching and want to get involved? When's the deadline, and how they can support, right away?
Yeah, so we're kind of getting down to the last sort of week and a bit for sponsorships. We do still have some youth that need sponsoring, so that I will still let you know about that. Financial donations and bulk donations are great right now at this point in the program, because we'll need that until the 19th of December. So we have giveaway days, and we have days that we're pulling and supporting families. So if you are interested in sponsoring, we still have independent youth, so you should go online to our website, which is familyconnections.ca, and that's connections with an X, so family and then CONNEXIONS.ca. And on the landing page, there's a little button. You just click want to help a family, and then it'll bring to the page where you can apply. We can match you right away and send the information out to you. You also, on that application, if you want to help with bulk items, you can also, like if you want to do a collection of any items or want to purchase items, then please apply that way as well. And then financial donation, you can apply online as well. We have a Canada Helps account where, and tomorrow's Giving Tuesday, and the one thing about Giving Tuesday tomorrow with Canada Helps is that for every donation over $25, Canada Helps is giving an extra $5. So there's a little bonus there if you want to give tomorrow on Giving Tuesday, or any other time. Obviously we'll take the donation, because it really makes a big difference for us to be able to fill the gaps with financial donations, and it's quick and easy, and you get a tax receipt right away, anything over $20. So those are some of the ways right now that we can 100% receive the help.
Awesome. And before we wrap up, can you tell us, once the holiday season the dust falls and we're into the new year, how can people still stay involved and support, whether financially or volunteering? What are ways that people can continue to support throughout the year?
Sure, and I appreciate that question, because I know the holidays is a great time for people to remember and to want to give back, but the families that are suffering at the holiday time suffer all year round. So we do have what's called a basic needs fund, and so if you want to provide financial donations throughout the year, you can do that on a monthly basis or provide it that way. But we also, we always need items, so like baby items especially, those are things like diapers and wipes and those kinds of things for babies tends to be something that we always need. But one of the other things with our basic needs fund that we provide a lot of support for is for baby cribs. And so for our safe sleep, a lot of children and with our families aren't able to sleep in a crib because they can't afford to purchase one. And it's an actual safety concern for us. So we fundraise through our basic need fund to help families purchase cribs for babies. So that's another way that you can help. But throughout the year, we also do a camp program. So we send kids to camp, and we do a fundraiser for that to provide the cost to cover for summer camp. And then also we do we do back to school in the summer. So we provide backpacks with school supplies and whatnot. And we last year did over 600 of those. So that takes fundraising support as well as people dropping off donations throughout the summer. So there's lots of different ways. And then volunteering, we definitely have a need for volunteers. And I will put the last plug in, which is about foster parents. So we also need fostering. So if there is anyone that's ever been touched by that or thought that they might want to do that, I would encourage them to also become involved in that way, because that's another, I mean, it's a big thing, obviously, but I would love to put the plug in there too, that people should know that we're always looking for foster parents.
And people that have any questions in regards to fostering, there's a way of reaching out via the website as well?
Yep, there's a very short application on our website when you look through the information about fostering, and that just sends us a quick note to our foster team, and then they get in touch with you, and then we do information sessions about every 6 weeks where you can come in and ask questions and learn more about the program.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So much, Melanie, for taking the time out of your day to chat with us. We hope that this will create some more awareness and that more people can get involved and donate and help out in any way to not only the holiday program, but hopefully year-long as well.
Well, thank you so much for the support, and thank you to everyone. I know this time of year everyone's busy, but to pay attention and listen and consider supporting the children and families that are in need in our community. We appreciate it so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, Tara.
Bye.
Bye.